Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? It's
Doing
actually good
well.
evening to you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. And hello to all our viewers who are there with us on this Insta Live. Good morning and good evening.
Yes.
So it's so lovely to be here talking to you, Malvika.
Thanks,
So
Kritika. Yes.
as we start, I would love to hear about your journey. So how did you come into yoga and when did all of this start?
Okay, so it's a very, very interesting journey and a totally unexpected one. Um, I was back in India till 2017, and I was in my job doing a corporate job in HR for a good 5 years. And then when I decided that I want to get married, I married the love of my life who was in
Oh,
US.
wow.
And then I had to move here. So that was sort of a hard decision to take at that point, if I have to see family wise, career wise, because I had to leave everything behind and just come to
Yeah.
this new place altogether. But at the same time, I had that it was probably just the love that got me here. And once I moved here, things are a little different here in the sense that, especially regards to work permit. So I didn't have my work permit for the first 3 years. So that was
Oh,
the toughest challenge. And but the good part is that I used my time very wisely. So in the last 3 years that I've been here, I got comfortable and just settled into this new lifestyle, I would say, because it was completely different to what I was used to initially. And just being away from the family was a little hard because I've never done that. I had never done that in the past. This was my first time being away from home. So because I had done my schooling, my college, my master's, everything in Delhi. So had never really stayed away from anybody. So that was a bit challenging, but I think it was all worth it because in these 3 years, like I was mentioning, I did a few certifications. I I had been doing yoga before that, while I was in India, but once I moved here, I probably took it more seriously because I had more time to myself, and I realized the importance of just taking care of for myself. So I realized that, okay, I have this time. Not everybody gets this opportunity. So might as well make the best use of it. So I used to do yoga once a week, I would say. So I wasn't that regular. I was doing it as my own practice whenever I felt like doing it. And then I was doing other things too to keep myself active. But once the pandemic happened, one of my friends, because she knew that I did yoga and I did it for a good 3, 4 years before this, just my own personal practice. So she just gave me a suggestion that why don't you just share your practice with everyone around? I mean, Zoom was picking up pace once the pandemic hit. So she's like, why don't you
Yeah.
share your practice with friends and family on Zoom and let's just start this and let's just work out together. And that's exactly how my how my teaching started. It gave me a lot of confidence. It helped me make a lot of new connections because relatively new in the US, so didn't know too many people as such. But I had really nice supportive friends here who introduced me to their friends, and then just like that, our family grew. And now, as of today, we have over 55 uh, active subscribers. So
Oh,
super
that's
proud.
lovely.
Yep, in just a span of, I would say, 10 months, because March is when we started these sessions, like these live Zoom sessions. And that's how this thing grew. And it came out, I mean, it was so organic. It just felt right. And it just felt that, yes, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And just that
Mhm.
feeling of being able to help others was way too rewarding. Like I can't even explain or express that how fulfilling this entire journey has been.
Yeah, like a
So
second innings.
definitely a second innings. No, never would have I ever imagined that A, I would be a yoga instructor, and B, that just because I loved my HR job. When I was back in India, I mean, I used to crave to go to work, and I
Yeah.
used to love what I used to do. So, I mean, leaving that was tough, but I guess like life is full of unexpected experiences,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm just blessed that this was a pleasant one for me. And
Yeah.
yeah, super
And
happy
how
that I'm
did
here.
and how did yoga benefit your life? Like, what are the benefits you saw in your life?
So, like I mentioned, I had never stayed away from home. So, I initially, when I moved here, I used to feel a little lonely, I would say, because not didn't know many people here and
Hmm.
couldn't go out to work. So, basically, I was just homebound and just talking to people in India was because all of my friends are in India. So, the time difference was a big challenge because
Yeah.
the time I used to wake up, they used to be going to bed, and when they used to be going to bed, I used to wake up. So that was
Yeah.
another challenging thing. But yoga helped me through this. Yoga literally helped me being comfortable with myself. It helped me enjoying my me time, that I call it, because otherwise that was never a concept, especially when I was in India, because we used to stay in a joint family, so we were always surrounded by people. There was
Oh
somebody
my
going,
God.
yeah, so
That
somebody,
must have been
yeah.
such a stark
Oh
change
yeah,
living
yeah,
with a
from,
joint family.
yep, from say from 20 people to 2 people. So yeah, so that was and otherwise also just yoga, like it's a very holistic practice. Why I would say that, because it not only focuses on your physical health but also on your mental health. So that has really helped me just steer through these 3 years. And I'm pretty sure that going forward also this is gonna be with me for the X number of years that I live. But this practice has really, really benefited me personally because I feel more positive. I feel more connected to myself. I definitely feel more compassionate and more empathetic also towards others. And this practice has also helped me just fall in love with myself once again, because somewhere during the pandemic and during all the things that were happening, I mean, you sometimes lose touch with yourself because of
Absolutely.
all the hustle that is going on in our daily lives. We really don't pay attention or really don't give ourselves enough credit or enough time. So yoga just helped me connect with myself, and that has been really, really rewarding. I'm super
That's
happy, and
really
yeah,
good.
just
Yeah.
feel lucky that I got this in my life. Yep. Let's talk about your journey, because I know I've known you since school.
Yeah.
We somehow lost touch in between, and I'm so happy. See, again, one another benefit from yoga, that it helped me reconnect with you.
Reconnecting,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes. So let's
Yeah.
also hear something about
So
your
my
journey.
journey started a little earlier in this work of mindfulness, meditation, wellness. So I started at a very early age. I think at the age of 15 years was when I did my first Art of Living workshop.
Oh wow.
They had this workshop for kids, teenagers. So that's where I started because I feel I was always looking for something more in life.
Mm-hmm.
As a child or teenager, I did not feel very comfortable in my own skin, and I was not. There was so much chatter inside my head that I used to feel, how do I quieten my thoughts? So much going on inside your head. And so that's what led me into this field to first create a good life for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
it started with Art of Living. I did it for a few years. Then I went on to study and practice Buddhism. I was very inquisitive about different things, that why, hows, and the analytical minds that we are
Yep.
completely programmed with in our schooling.
Yep.
And so then after that I studied hypnotherapy.
Okay.
That was a major changing point for me. So when I was in college, when I went into hypnotherapy, I got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of answers in life, that why does things happen the way they do? Like, why is one person going through this, the other is not? So I was always curious that how can everyone create a beautiful life and a happy life? And hypnotherapy was a big turning point in my life, and I was blessed with really amazing teachers who could
Mm-hmm.
really open up the entire world to me that, there's so much we don't know about life. And, we're just living this much. And once you're open to that world, there's no going back.
Yep.
And that's when I realized that, it is actually one of my passions and life purpose to make the world achieve or feel and experience this unconditional love and the joy that this being connected with yourself brings
Yep.
in your life. And so that's where it started. But I was always very career oriented and I wanted to have a good corporate life. So I knew I'm going to get into this, but maybe in some years. So first I
Yep.
wanted to really do well in my corporate life, excel there. So that's what I went on to do. I worked with various companies. I worked with the government divisions handling
Mm-hmm.
policy making. And it
Okay.
was very rewarding and really amazing. That's why it was so tough for me to quit my job, which I finally did last year after COVID. And everyone was
Mm-hmm.
surprised that how can you quit a job
Yep.
during COVID,
Yep.
when people are actually losing jobs.
Yep.
But I had started doing this work, conducting workshops, doing one-on-one sessions, therapies,
Mm-hmm.
uh, 5, 6 years back. So along with my job, I would do this on the weekend. And
Wow.
this had just, organically grown so much. And especially during COVID, when we were working from home, it was very easy to conduct sessions on Zoom. So
Yep.
it just became so big that I had no time to balance both anymore. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided that, okay, now is the time to, really take my actual passion way forward and
Mm-hmm.
say goodbye to my corporate job. And I feel that, that was the best time to do this because this work is actually my heart's true calling. And
Yep.
when I see the, changes and experiences that people get through
Yep.
this, as you shared, it's such a beautiful feeling
Yep.
to be able to help even a single person
Yep.
and, be a part of their journey and create some change. So that is, what I do. I'm a neuroplastician. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I've studied in almost all healing modalities. Since this was something which really interested me, intrigued me, so I went on to study all over the world from teachers, Taoism, there's pranic healing, there's Reiki, there's EFT, eutaptics, anything and everything that I would hear, I have to study it and I'll get certified in it. So that was something I always kept doing. I'm also a Love Yourself, Heal Your Life teacher, certified
Okay.
by Hay House USA. And so that is one of the most beautiful things, And that also brings us to our topic for today's Insta Live, where
Yep.
we talk about Yin Yoga and self love.
Yep.
So everyone was messaging me and asking me, this is such an interesting combination of topic,
Yep.
Yin Yoga and self love. And I was like, absolutely. And so what really brought these two topics together was so this workshop that we conceived and that we're doing called the Awakened Woman is where these two concepts we brought together in a very beautiful way for every woman to experience the magic of Yin Yoga and self love. So let's share with all what is Yin Yoga, Malvika. Tell us.
Okay. Yes. Uh, Yin yoga has a special place in my heart. The reason for that is uh, I was never a very calm person, I would say. I was always on the go. I was more of a gym person. So, and never ever would have I thought that I would be interested in like a meditative form of yoga or a process where it allows you to relax, to rejuvenate, to ground yourself. Never ever. I was that, oh, this is not for me. This was my initial thought when I got to know about yin or when I practiced yin. But when I practiced it once, twice, and thrice, I got hooked onto it. The simple reason because in our daily lives, we're already in the hustle, we're already on the go. We're always just focused on running, on just focused more towards an active lifestyle. But yin yoga allows us to take a pause, it allows us to breathe, it allows us to be with ourselves. which I feel is really important in today's world. Because with all the things that we are occupied with, we really don't get time for ourselves. But
Absolutely.
with Yin Yoga, what I did experience was that that 1 hour that I dedicate to myself, especially during Yin, other than the other yoga uh, forms that I practice, Yin was the most relaxing. And at the same time, I felt such a drastic change in my body, apart from the other benefits that Yin has. When I talk about my body, I will talk about I gained more flexibility through Yin. I gained more mobility in my joints through Yin. And it also helped me in toning and just losing weight. So,
Oh.
and which is very rare in the sense that if a regular person thinks or listens or hears about Yin, they would think, okay, this is such a slow paced class, one cannot lose weight, or how will one gain flexibility, and so on and so forth. I mean, these thoughts are very common, and I had these thoughts myself unless I experienced, like, till the time I experienced it, I was like, wow. My mind was blown away. And as far as Yin is concerned, I'll just briefly tell about it. I mean, because there's so much to talk about Yin, but
Yeah.
since we have limited time, I would say it's a simple and a quiet practice, and it's usually you are actually pushing your body to go out of your comfort zone. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a comfort zone where you know, okay, this is my edge and this is where I need to be. But with Yin practice, the deeper you go into your Yin practice, you're literally telling your body to give yourself another push. So that helps you deepen your practice, deepen your meditative state of mind, because you are constantly telling yourself, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is your limit, but just try, probably go an inch further. It's not about, again, yoga or Yin, any other form of yoga is not about touching your toes or how flexible you are. It's not that, because a lot of people, they think, oh, I'm not flexible, so yoga is not for me. That's not the case, because especially with when you come around Yin yoga, it's basically for just your joints. So it improves your joint health. It works on your connective tissues. It goes deeper into your body. So the regular or the other forms of yoga that we do, they help us with our muscles. But
Mm-hmm.
with Yin, the benefit or the difference is that it works on your connective tissues, your ligaments, your tendons, the fascia, your organs. So it goes much deeper, which no other yoga practice does. So,
Yeah,
and this is
that's
why, yeah, and this is
interesting.
why it's also, yeah, this is why it's also very important for women in specific.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about Yin, everybody benefits from Yin, but women
Yeah.
benefit slightly more, I would say, because
Yeah.
as you know, we're going to talk about this in our workshop as well. A lot of women related issues are due to hormonal imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yin yoga helps balance that. How it does that
Okay.
is by activating the parasympathetic nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
which is responsible for relax and digest function of our body. So
Mm-hmm.
once the parasympathetic nervous system is activated when you practice Yin, and that in turn helps you with the just the overall health, like it improves your endocrine, the functioning of your endocrine glands, and that
Mm-hmm.
in turn then helps you with hormonal balance, and which
Mm-hmm.
basically is the root cause of most of our
Yeah,
health
like
issues.
PCOS and PMS,
Yep,
dysmenorrhea, all of
yep,
those are
all of
caused by
those
hormonal,
hormonal.
even
Yep,
mood swings for that matter,
yep,
you know.
yep,
The
yep,
hormonal imbalance causes so much chaos for women.
yep,
And this is such a beautiful way actually to be able to restore your health in a mental, emotional, and physical balanced manner.
yep, yep,
And I love the way, as you shared in the beginning, that, how we're always on the go. And so I really associate with that, that's actually gymming, and it's all a very
yep,
masculine form of, we've always been programmed to be like go-getters,
yep,
competitive, always trying to be very ambitious. We've all been programmed. That's how our education system is. It, just uh, pitches all of us against each other, and you have to compete.
yep,
And that's the interesting part about the feminine part, the yin energy, which
yep,
is not really understood or even, tapped into at all.
yep,
Because Yin is a form of being with the flow,
Yep.
and accepting yourself, being yourself, and allowing other things to flow and the intuitive powers to be channeled into. And we feel that, only through hard work we have to achieve everything. I have to do
Yep.
this, I have to do that. There's no support. But yin is what helps us understand that we don't need to do all this alone.
Yep.
Hustle is not the only way to achieve things. When you actually
Absolutely.
start connecting within, when you
Yep.
actually find that balance within and you start flowing with life, life comes to you. Success, everything in life starts coming to you instead of you running after it.
Running towards it.
You
Yep.
know, so
So yeah.
that is something,
Yep.
which, we talked about the workshop, the awakened woman.
Yep.
So that is something, through this workshop, we want to bring to women that, first women need to tap into this beautiful energy. It's in all of us, even men. And
Yep.
there are some really successful men, even in like top management positions in companies, who use their feminine energy to grow in their work life, because not only it creates balance, happiness, peace of mind inside you, but that starts giving
Around you.
results even around
Around
you.
you.
And
Yep.
we always with people, everything is relationships, people management, and yin energy has such powerful gifts and techniques when we come to understand how it really works.
Yep. What's really interesting and different about yin is that it focuses on stillness. So, and
Yeah.
like we know, we are known or we are designed or we are just programmed this way that okay, unless and until you work out for 2 hours, unless and until you run a treadmill, you're not going to gain anything, which is not the
Stillness,
case. Yeah.
stillness means you're lazy.
Yeah.
You are just
Oh yeah.
lazy.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Yep.
Being
So
idle and just sitting and being still is something we just look down upon.
yep.
And yet, there are so many treasures, there are so many gifts in the stillness. When
Yep.
our mind becomes still, that is when all our actual inner potential can come through.
And
And
that's
nobody has
exactly,
really taught us this.
yep. And that's exactly where the magic happens. When you have that time to yourself, when you are in complete stillness, when you are focusing, rather than focusing on what's outside, focusing on what's inside, how you're feeling, giving attention to your feelings. Because nowadays, okay, even if somebody's getting a feeling, you're like, "Shh, this is nothing.
Just
Let me,
shun
yeah,
it away.
just, yes, exactly. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
become a part of our lives. But with yin, because it allows you to stay still, it's such a passive practice. It plays a very, very important role in developing that deeper connection with yourself. So,
Absolutely. And emotions, as you said, when you start becoming more attuned with your yin powers,
yep,
you start understanding emotions,
yep.
noticing them to be able to identify. Most of us can't even identify our
Identify the
emotions. Oh,
emotions.
what are you feeling? I'm feeling bad.
Yeah,
Bad could be angry, bad could be sad, bad could be anxious. I'm feeling bad.
bad.
When I do this work with clients, I'm amazed. People
Hmm.
don't have, they don't even know their emotions.
Yep,
And if you don't know something, how will you be able to overcome it?
yep,
So Yin really teaches us how to deal with our emotions. And if we are able to master our emotions, then we can just achieve, be anything we want, because
yep.
that is like a superpower.
Absolutely.
Emotional intelligence is such a beautiful gift that
Yep,
we only focus on IQ. We don't
yep.
focus on
It's on the
EQ much.
EQ. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. And as you were saying, this connection with ourselves, that brings us to the second thing that we are
yep,
going to be talking about, which is self-love.
yep. Let's talk about self-love. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it needs to be, uh, I mean, there needs to be more information and just more acceptance that, okay, loving others is beautiful, it's nice, but loving yourself is equally important. And
yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
and
I always ask this question to
hmm,
people, so tell me one person you love the most in the world.
yep,
And everyone comes up with, so many answers. Oh, my husband, my mother, my
mom,
father. But nobody
no
ever
one to
says,
say.
I love myself the most.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is one of the most important, yet the most neglected relationships.
Yep.
Because, from the time we are born, we are into very symbiotic relationships. We feel that, we're dependent on people for food, as a toddler, for support, protection, everything. So we feel that life is happening from outside. Everything is happening to me. Like people are hurting me or people are blaming me. You did that, you did this. We have never been, shown that, everything is actually from inside.
Inside.
It's the
Yep.
connection that I have with myself, which is going to create all my relationships, whether it's my romantic relationships, whether it's with my parents,
Yep.
my work relationship. It all depends on what you hold inside.
Yep.
And that is the most beautiful thing about self love. We hear this term thrown around everywhere,
Yep.
it's people would say, oh, just love yourself and everything is going to be okay. And I always used to wonder, how do I love myself? It's
Yep.
easier said than done because
Yep.
we have never been told that. So it's something so new. So when slowly you start understanding, which we're going to be talking a lot and doing a lot of beautiful practices in this workshop to deepen
Mm-hmm.
that self-love.
Yep.
Because you can't just say to somebody, love yourself, and
Love
it's
yourself.
done.
Yep. Doesn't happen
You
that
have
way.
so many layers to it. Like for example, if a parent or a sibling or teachers around you, if they did not love you the way you needed to as a kid, you will always have a very negative relationship with yourself.
Yep.
You cannot, if you were not parented in the way you needed to be fulfilled, you will treat yourself in that same way.
Yep.
We learn those behaviors. The way we talk to ourselves is how maybe a parent talked to us. And we're so harsh on ourselves. We are so tough to ourselves. Like, for example, if you do something wrong, if suppose there's a kid
Hmm.
and the kid does something wrong, and the kid comes to you really scared, what will you do? One thing is you just scold the kid, how could you do this, and the kid will obviously get scared.
Yep.
And another way is, you just tell the kid, just come here and just embrace them and tell them that it's okay, you can
It's
do
okay.
better next time.
Yep.
That just creates such a beautiful
Beautiful
shift.
day.
I mean, just imagine doing this to yourself.
Yep.
It just changes everything. You
Yep.
know, we're so hard on ourselves. We criticize ourselves so much.
Yep.
If we can do this simple thing, you know, our own inner talk, if we can be kinder to ourselves in our inner dialogue, that will
Yep.
make a world of change in our lives.
It
Because
definitely
how,
makes a difference. Yep.
yeah, because how we treat ourselves is how others will treat us.
Yes.
If you don't love yourself, how do you expect your boyfriend to love you?
Yep.
So and this self love is not a very superficial thing or like a looks thing that, oh, I don't like my looks. Though many people associate it with only that as well,
Yep.
because our society has
Yes.
that programming that looks is so important. But
Yep.
that self love is so much deeper than that. Of course, accepting the way you look is a very important step.
Yep.
And but everything about you, including your flaws, when you start loving that,
Yep.
that's when you start reaching very deep layers of self love,
And
where you're there
yep.
for yourself.
Yep. And this is the beauty of Yin Yoga too, because that's how self-love and Yin Yoga go hand in hand. Because Yin Yoga actually, I mean, it truly helps you fall in love with yourself.
Yeah,
It helps you understand your limitations because as humans, all of us do have limitations. Nobody's
yeah,
limitless. That's another story that we are capable of doing anything that we put our heart to, which again is true. But you need to have that connection to understand that with yourself that, okay, I can do this. So, yin yoga, I think the first step to self love or self acceptance is to accept where you're at, accept who you are, and love yourself the way you are. So
yeah,
that's what yin yoga also helps us understand. It helps us understand that we are one entity, the other person is another entity. We are here to support each other. There is no competition going on here. You
Absolutely.
probably will be able to go, say, 50% into a stretch that we're doing in a session, and somebody else might be at a 60 or a 70. But that's absolutely fine. Focus
Yeah.
on yourself, focus on what you're feeling, focus on the sensations that you're feeling in your body, and just embrace that. So, another very good practice that we do with yin is I mean, I do that in my personal practice, that I keep a journal with me and I write down and I note down the emotions that I felt during that 1 hour.
Wow.
Because yin yoga, it definitely and always, it's like an emotional healing process. So
Mhm.
because when you're in stillness, when you're with yourself, when there is no distraction around you, and when you're tuned in with your true self, that's when you
Mhm.
realize, okay, what am I feeling? How do I feel?
Yeah.
What do I do about this? How do I go about this? That's when all those thoughts start to come in, because you are cutting out the distractions, you're clearing the
Mhm.
clutter from your mind, and you're just being there with yourself. So
Yeah.
so keeping a journal after your practice really helps you to connect with your feelings and to get back to them whenever you need to, and see
Yeah,
what
that
needs
is
to be
such a
worked upon.
beautiful thing. I never knew this about any other yoga practice. That's really beautiful. And sorry. So yeah, so this is such a beautiful way in self-love and yin yoga. They're such interwoven together. And so in this workshop, we are going to be doing a lot of things apart from yin yoga and self-love. So we'll be doing a lot of release work. So as you mentioned about emotions,
Yes.
from the time we are born, we have been carrying baggages and baggages of emotions because we
Yep.
don't know how to release them. We just
Yep.
know how to brush it under the carpet.
Yep.
So this workshop is this beautiful opportunity to finally let go of the burdens, the hurts, the heartbreaks, the emotional pain, anger that we've carried for
Yep.
so long. So
Anything
we
that
need
no longer serves us should be let go.
absolutely because
Yep.
first step is identifying that it exists within us, and then comes the part of releasing them. So we'll be using a lot of different techniques, and one of the techniques that we'll be using is meridian tapping and eutactics. So it's a very powerful tool, which helps us release in a very short span of time. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, we'll be doing a lot of work around forgiveness.
Yep.
So self-love is incomplete without forgiveness.
Yep.
Until unless you forgive people around you who hurt you and you forgive yourself, you cannot step into self-love. And forgiveness has beautiful deep layers that it works with. So we're going to be doing that in the workshop. And then, the favorite part that I really love is belly
Belly
dancing. So
dancing.
we'll be doing belly dancing. So belly dancing is a very beautiful tool which connects with your abdomen, your womb, your vagina, your pelvic muscles. So it helps us connect with our body, our feminine body parts. It helps us activate them and generate power and strength in them. So apart from being a lot of fun, of course,
Yes.
and also belly dance helps a lot with the body image issues.
Yep.
So, women have always been stereotyped that this is the right body, this is the wrong body, and we feel so
Yep.
uncomfortable if we get a little bit of tummy. Oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yep.
So all of this, belly dance helps you embrace your body, love your body just the way it is, because every woman, every
Is
body is so beautiful.
yep.
And then we're going to be doing a lot around conscious menstruation. Women have a lot of disconnect with their menstrual cycles, and there's a lot of ew and irk around it. So we heal a lot of that, and we understand how the cycles affect our life, our daily lives. What's going on inside us during that time. There are
Mm-hmm.
ups and downs. We feel
Yep.
so low towards our time when the period comes. So
Yep.
understanding it, once you understand it, then you can work with it rather than be a victim of it.
Yep.
And it's such a beautiful thing, menstruation. And when we in this workshop, we release all those taboos around it and that each one of us have. We might say that,
Yep.
oh, of course, we're very open-minded, but we still have that feeling, oh God,
Yeah.
why? Why?
Why
So
us?
we're going to be doing a lot of work around that, and that is primarily a big cause around why PCOS has become so rampant nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and women are facing health issues like fibroids, cysts, and
Yep.
dysmenorrhea and PMS, so rampant, and
Yep.
the rate has increased really highly.
Yep.
So we'll be doing a lot of that. There'll be a lot of self-love work. There'll be a lot of mirror work that we'll be doing. There are crystal heart activation meditations that we'll be doing. And then there is womb healing. And we'll also be doing vinyasa yoga because it's, as you shared with me, that it's very important to balance yin yoga
Balance.
with yang.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll be doing a lot of that and so many other things, in this. So it's basically a 2-week program in which we'll be having 4 classes on the weekends on Zoom, and rest of the days we will be connecting on WhatsApp, and we'll be doing and practicing one thing every day. So that is how we're going. So the reason we came up with this 2-week thing was because you go one day to a workshop, you do it, and then you come back and forget it.
Forget
So
about
we
it.
wanted people to actually apply those things together. It really creates that supportive sisterhood, which helps you apply, practice, motivate each other. So that is why we wanted to have this 2-week program to
Yep.
apply these things together and see the changes in us.
Yep. I am totally psyched. Can't wait to can't wait for this to start. And I mean, just that yin and vinyasa, both like you mentioned right now, it's important for us to have a balance. See, life is about balance, balancing your inner self, balancing your masculine and your feminine energy, balancing your just everything, like your personal life or your professional life. So balance is pretty important, right?
Yeah,
so so that is why we incorporated yin and vinyasa, because that will give people an option. And also each style of yoga is I would say, I mean, few people relate to just the yin part, few people would relate to just the yang part, and there will be few who will probably relate to both. But it's just good to just spread this knowledge that it's important to do both. You can do more of one. Like if I like yin more, I can probably do 4 yin classes in a week and just 1 or 2 vinyasa. But it's important to just do both.
balance
So
both. Yeah, because
balancing
you're
is,
right. Balancing masculine and feminine is
yep,
very, very important.
very important.
in
Yes.
in no way masculine is bad. In no way,
Yep.
being masculine is any kind of a disadvantage. We absolutely, each one of us need to have
We need
masculine
that.
within. But
Absolutely.
as women, it's important to reside in a core energy of feminine, because most of the women nowadays, because of the programming of the society, have become completely masculine driven.
Hmm.
They feel that they need to be meant to succeed in this world, and achieve anything, to be even accepted for that matter. They have to
Hmm.
be masculine. So that has created a lot of imbalance in their bodies, in their relationships, and overall their health,
Just,
life,
yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
So for women, it's very important to reside in their core energy of feminine,
Yep.
and then to be able to use masculine in a way that makes them feel comfortable
Yep.
and not being driven by it. That is the very, very important point. And when you start understanding that feminine is not in any way less,
Yep.
it's actually equally beautiful and powerful as
Yep.
masculine. That simple
Absolutely.
thing, of feeling lucky. When people
Yep.
say, oh, life happens so easily to you, everything
Yep.
happens so effortlessly for you, that's all actually feminine energy.
Yep.
That's when you step into your feminine energy, everything in life starts coming very easily to you, and it
Yep.
becomes effortless.
Yep. Sorry about that. My phone just
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
so
That's
so
really
we're
excited about
very
this.
excited for this workshop, and it starts on 30th January. So you can find the link to join this workshop in the bio, in my Instagram handle, Alchemy with Ghee, and I think
I'm gonna,
Malvika.
yes, I'm gonna add it too. Yes, I'm gonna just
So
add it
you can
after
just
this
click
call.
on it, and you can also DM us if you have any more questions. And let's quickly ask if anyone has any questions
Yep,
about Yin
will do.
Yoga, self-love, or about the workshop Awaken
Yes,
Woman.
yes,
Please go ahead.
we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah.
There's another, till the time anybody thinks of a question, I wanted to add one thing. Another thing that I really practice and I really enjoy when I'm practicing yin yoga is just affirmations. Because I feel
Oh,
affirmations are a way to just reinforce certain things that we take too lightly in our daily practice or in our daily lives
absolutely.
for that matter. Say, like a simple sentence like, I am enough.
Yes.
Imagine you repeating that self to you every now and then. What impact will that have? What will it reinforce? What
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of times it's very normal for us to feel, oh, we are not enough. Oh,
Yeah.
I can
It's
do
not,
more.
I think
Yeah,
95% of the people, or even more for that
yeah,
matter, feel I'm not good enough.
yeah, yeah. It's such
And
a common
it's so
feeling, right?
relative.
Yep,
You must be feeling, and somebody you idolize, and
yep,
they must be feeling the same thing. I am
yep,
not good enough.
absolutely.
And just this simple statement, this
Yeah,
affirmation,
yep,
it empowers you so much.
yep,
And it's so beautiful, I am enough.
yep. Just a simple statement. I mean, and so what I do is with each yin posture that we hold, I have a different affirmation depending on what part are we focusing on. If the part is, if the, say, if we are doing a stretch for our heart, a heart
Mhm.
opening stretch, so there'll be an affirmation that I am loved, or I feel loved, or I love and I love enough, or I love fearlessly. I mean, they can be anything. Your
Yeah,
affirmation is can be personal. If you want, I
yeah,
do give a choice of affirmations that you can pick and choose from, but if you have something of your own, more than welcome to go ahead with that.
yeah,
But just these subtleties that are there in the practice makes all the difference, because
yeah,
otherwise
absolutely.
anybody can practice yoga, gymming, or anything for that matter, any form of
Yeah.
exercise. But these things, I mean, they're subtle, but they're very effective. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So Lewis here talks a lot about affirmation.
hmm,
And in this workshop, we'll be working around affirmations because they're like planting seeds in
seeds
your
inside.
subconscious.
Yep,
And
yep.
we have so many negative seeds that it's so important to now start planting those
Those
positive seeds.
positive seeds. Yep.
But very important other part is, before we plant that seed of I am enough, it's
Hmm.
also important to, pull out all the weeds
Weeds.
inside,
Yep,
because there are so many voices that have told you that you're not good enough.
yep,
So it's very important through release work that we'll be doing together in this workshop, that you release all of those programs, those voices, those beliefs around you, that you're not smart, you're not intelligent, you're not good looking, everything that you've been told. Once you release that, there's this beautiful land now where you can sow these seeds that I am
yep,
beautiful, I am perfect just the way I am. I
yep,
love myself just the way I am. And that creates such a beautiful change in your life.
yep, yep. Affirmations work magic for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
So I don't think we have any questions.
yep, I guess.
So thank you so much, Malvika, for taking out time from your sleep time. I know it must be late there, but it was
It's
really
fine.
lovely
I think,
talking to you.
yep, totally worth it.
And
Totally
and
worth
I'm
it.
so excited for the workshop where I'll get to experience Yin Yoga, and
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you everyone else for joining in into this Insta Live. And so have a great night, Malvika.
Thank you. Thank you, Geetika. You have a wonderful day, and we'll connect soon once our workshop starts, and
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
hopefully make a difference in a few more lives, and
Yeah,
just 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 feeling super lucky and super happy to be a part of this, and super excited to
absolutely.
start this. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone. All
Thanks for
right. Bye.
joining. Yep. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good day. Bye bye.